Today I'll be going over why sleep is the single most important part of your health. Eating healthy is very good. Exercise is very good. Seeing sunlight is very good. Socialization is very good. But sleep is probably the most important one by far. Today I'll be going over why it's important mentally, to your discipline, to your mood, and hormones, right? And how to fix it. But I won't be going over the basic advice like, oh, don't go on your phone before bed or don't eat before bed. I'll be going over advice here early here, right? And I'll be explaining the science behind it. And I'll be translating the science like normal words that me and you can understand. So first off, mentally, your discipline, and your mood. How does it affect these things? So first off, let's define a key term, right? That key term is your prefrontal cortex. So the prefrontal cortex, you can imagine is like your kind of your management system of your brain. It's like the part that is responsible for decision making and responsible for you to make choices, right? So whenever you sleep, your brain kind of cleans itself out. It resets itself for the next day. And it also resets the prefrontal cortex. Whenever it does that, your prefrontal cortex is more fresh, correct? So whenever you wake up the next day, you feel sharper. So you can imagine if you have a good night of sleep versus a bad night of sleep. The good night's sleep, right? You feel way sharper, way more motivated, you do the right decisions more often than when you sleep poorly. So you feel more tired, you feel more sluggish, you feel groggy. That's because of many factors, but one of the main factors is your prefrontal cortex. You could imagine, right? Say I'm tired. I had a poor night of sleep. I'm more likely to start scrolling because I'm tired, right? So that decision is easier for me to make. Let's say I'm, again, poor night of sleep. I'd be like, I can skip the gym. I'm tired today. That decision feels more justifiable. But whenever you have a good night of sleep, you feel way better, right? You're more energetic and your brain is working sharper. So you make better decisions throughout the day. You can imagine that one day, whatever, you go to the gym or you skip the gym, doesn't matter. But over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, over your lifetime, even if you make one good decision today, right, extra, because of good sleep, you can imagine the almost compounding interest you could get from that. So that's number one, right? So better decision making, so better discipline, you could say, right? Now, second of all, it helps with brain fog. Similar to decision making, whenever you feel tired, right, your brain is kind of like it's clogged, you could say. Imagine like a pipe. Your brain, if it doesn't sleep good, is like a clogged pipe. Water can't run through it good, right? So you feel more tired, you feel more groggy, you have this brain fog. Your mind can't focus on anything. You can't really, do anything because you feel very tired, right? So when you have good sleep, that gets alleviated. So whenever you try to do your homework, your work, your anything, you feel way better with better sleep because it takes off the brain fog. And finally, it resets dopamine. So we hear dopamine a lot. We hear dopamine in terms of, like chocolate, candy, whatever, that spikes your dopamine. Social media spikes your dopamine. But the misconception is dopamine isn't a bad hormone. Dopamine is like the hormone of gratification, of happiness, right? So you ever wonder why whenever you sleep good, you kind of wake up, you're stretching your body, whatever, you feel nicer, like your mood is better? That's because your dopamine is higher. Whenever you sleep, your body kind of creates dopamine or creates a bunch of hormones, which we'll talk about later, but one of them is dopamine. And with dopamine, since you feel better, your whole day's gonna be better, right? You're gonna feel nicer, you're gonna feel more fulfilled, you're gonna feel more energetic, more, you have better gratification, whatever, just not gratification, but better you just feel better overall because of dopamine. So whenever you sleep good, you won't crave the dopamine hits that you normally would. So you can imagine, say I slept poorly, I don't have good dopamine, I'm starting to eat chocolate, let's say to, spike up my dopamine level, right? Then my dopamine falls, so I need another, whatever, chocolate, right? So then my dopamine ends up falling down, right? But with good dopamine, if you have a good night of sleep and you feel already, fulfilled, you wouldn't need this chocolate or you wouldn't need the extra whatever, scrolling on your phone. So you'd feel better and healthier throughout the day. So that's the segment on mentally, right? What it could do mentally. Now, physically, it's probably even more, right? But today we'll be covering only hormones and what they can do for you, right? So the four main hormones we're going to cover today are testosterone, HGH, which is growth hormone, your cortisol, and your hunger hormones, which are ghrelin and leptin. So let's start with testosterone. Sleep is like the 80-20 rule of testosterone. If you don't sleep good, you'll have bad testosterone. If you sleep good, you'll most likely have better testosterone, right? It's a direct correlation. So whenever you sleep good, you have good testosterone. So good, like libido, better, like you feel better, you're physically better, you're healthier. All these things come from testosterone, right? So sleep directly causes testosterone to spike, which is good, obviously, right? So better sleep equals better testosterone. Next hormone we're talking about today is growth hormone. So whenever you want to, grow taller, grow muscles, whatever, your bone, everything, that's growth hormone, HGH. I get into the science of it, but what you need to know is whenever you sleep, your body, like your physical body, not your mind, your body kind of creates a hormone called HGH, which legit grows you, right? So you can imagine, let's say you're like a young guy, like 13, 14, whatever, right? If you sleep more, your growth hormone would spike up, which could legit, like physically grow you taller, right? Or physically make you bigger, right? And when you're not a kid, say you're like whatever, 20 years old or whatever, and you're hitting the gym, right? Let's just say, growth hormone will help you grow muscle, right? Some bodybuilders legit take steroids of HGH to get bigger, but you can do that naturally with better sleep. The next hormone we're going to be talking about is cortisol, which is the stress hormone, right? Whenever you sleep better, your cortisol levels go down, right? That means you feel less stressful throughout the day, which again is a big health benefit physically and mentally. Mentally, we already know, but physically, it could help with your testosterone. So lower cortisol is higher testosterone, direct correlation. It can help your hair from falling out. It could help, your physique. It could help a bunch of physical things. You could do some research. You probably already know most of them, right? So yeah, sleep helps cortisol. And finally, this one's very important especially if you want to lose weight or be healthy, is it helps ghrelin and leptin, which are both hunger hormones. So whenever you sleep, your body regulates these hormones better, right? So you're not as hungry throughout the day. So if you had poor sleep, you could be hungrier and eat worse food and gain weight, and that's a whole array of other problems, right? So yeah, so hormone wise, what we talked about is testosterone, cortisol, ghrelin and leptin, which are hunger hormones, and your HGH, right? So now you may be wondering, how do I fix my sleep, right? That's cool and all. I've already heard some random tips like don't go on your phone, don't eat. But today I'll be going over 3 main tips that you could do that you don't really hear about, right? So obviously incorporate all, the extra tips, right? Like, all the, don't go on your phone, see sunlight, whatever. But the 3 main tips I'm going to be sharing for you today is, first off, use red light. I'll explain why. Use mouth tape in your sleep. And the third one is earn your sleep. So first off, let's start off with the red light. So why going on your phone is bad before you sleep is because it has blue lights. Blue light, what it does is it kind of blocks your sleep hormone, which is I think melatonin. Right? It blocks that production because you can imagine 10,000 years ago, blue light means the sky, right? So whenever blue light is like the wavelength of blue light signals to your brain that it's daytime. So you don't want to produce, so your brain doesn't produce melatonin, right? So red light is the opposite. Whenever you see red light, your brain doesn't have that same reaction, and it does help you sleep and helps you sleep quicker and better, right? So first off, if you have LEDs, you could buy them if you don't have them. But yeah, get LEDs and turn them on right before you sleep. Now, second off is mouth tape. You will not believe how much you mouth breathe whenever you sleep. It's crazy, right? Well, we know that mouth breathing is bad for whatever, jawline, whatever, but it's also bad for your breathing, right? Nose breathing is way better than mouth breathing. So you could invest in this, it's legit $1, like $1 or $2 I got from the dollar store. It's like medical tape. So it's very easy to rip. So you could just open it like this. So whatever, you get this, and you just put it on your mouth, right? And you might be scared. You could easily rip it, right? I'm just ripping it right now. It's very easy, right? And it's not a crazy tape or anything. You can just, put on your mouth, which will force you to nose breathe, which makes your sleep quality better throughout the night. And finally, and the most important one, I think, is you have to earn your sleep, right? Say you didn't do anything. Say you just sat in your bed all day. You're not going to feel tired. Like, your body didn't do anything for it to be tired, right? I was talking to my friend about this. Whenever, at university started, I'm going outside, I'm studying, I'm using up my brain, I'm using up, I'm walking and everything, going to the gym. most of the nights I actually feel tired. I actually really want to sleep, right? I genuinely want to sleep, right? And that's because I earned my sleep. I'm physically tired, I'm mentally tired, mentally drained. That's probably the best thing you do for your sleep, right? Is if you earn your sleep, you see something, you do all these kind of harder, not hard, but like strenuous tasks throughout the day. That's what makes you earn your sleep. It makes you feel better, right? So if you implement these 3 steps I just told you, you'll have all these benefits I talked about earlier of physical and mental discipline, mood, and all that. So yeah, see you in the next one.